Hey guys, it's Heather Hall, and I am coming to you this evening to talk to you about the perfect jewelry bar. Is there such thing as perfect? Probably not. But my goal is to make sure that you have the resources that you need to be successful in your jewelry bar, so that you're doing everything that you can on your end to make sure that your jewelry bar is extremely efficient, effective, and obviously very profitable as well. So all of this month, we're going to be talking about the perfect jewelry bar. But this particular week, we're talking about Hostess coaching, because Hostess coaching seriously has such a huge impact on the success of your jewelry bar. And I think that a lot of people kind of miss that point. And there are so many things that you can do, just simple little tweaks that I'm going to kind of share with you that can really make a tremendous impact on your attendance, on your sales, on your excitement for your customers, on your bookings, on your potential new designers as well. Seriously, so much rides on your Hostess coaching. No pressure, right? So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to present my screen to everybody. Y'all give me a second. We haven't used this program in a little bit, but I had a request by a few people to make sure that we provided visuals other than just video for them because of audio issues. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so at this point, you should be seeing our Hostess coaching slides. And I'm just going to kind of walk through these with you. But that's not, I don't want that view. We'll do this view instead. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Hostess coaching. So first of all, the thing to really consider is, as I shared, Hostess coaching is so stinking important to the success of your jewelry bar, and it really is super simple, but it's about you being purposeful at the very beginning as soon as you're scheduling your jewelry bar. So we're going to kind of talk about that. And the reality is that Hostess coaching doesn't start the day of your jewelry bar. Your Hostess coaching starts the second she says yes. Okay? So we're going to talk, we're actually going to break this down a little bit, and we're going to talk about Hostess coaching before the actual jewelry bar. So when you're preparing for your jewelry bars, whether it's at your current jewelry bar or it's at a vendor event, or it's just you having resources available and at the ready for your business, I recommend that you have a jewelry bar planner. These can actually be located in the back office in the O2 tools. You can purchase these. I can't remember. I think there's like 10 or 12, maybe even less. I don't know. I can't remember. There's less than 12. How about that? In a pack. And I usually have 10 to 12 of these at a time that are at the ready. So in my jewelry bar planner, these are the things that I include. I include a welcome / thank you letter. Just, hey, it was so great to meet you regarding Origami Owl. And I am so thrilled that you're hosting a jewelry bar for me. I'm here to help you every step of the way to meet your goals, help you get all the goodies on your wish list, and help your party be extremely successful, etc., etc. You can include a little bit of information about you, about your family, things like that if you would like. But just make it super simple and really just make it your own. It doesn't have to be perfect, but share a little bit of your personality in your welcome. Then we have the Hostess Check 6 game. There's actually 8 different things that she can choose. And one of the slides, you're going to see that game in just a second. But I've also added it to our team file section so you'll be able to locate it easily. The purpose of the Hostess Check 6 game is just kind of as a way to help keep your hostess on track and show her the true potential in being prepared ahead of time. Basically, you're rewarding her for really working her party, because the reality is obviously the sales are going to help you, but your hostess wants to look like Mr. T at the end of her jewelry bar, right? So you want to make sure that she has some sort of guideline, because the reality is that they will do what you say, but you have to tell them what to do. Okay, So not only do you want to have your welcome letter, you want to have your Hostess Check 6 game. You also want to have a few toms. Now, don't go crazy. Those things are kind of pricey. So you don't have to put a dozen in there. I usually put 3 because she can keep one. She can share one with her friends, and then have one that is just on the go that she can give away if she wants to. Have a few order forms in there. I usually do 3 to 5 order forms because you really want to encourage pre-sales with your jewelry bar. Business cards, I would usually hand her 5 or so, a good number that she can kind of hand out. If she's wearing a locket already, she can give your information to people who seem to love it. And as she gets all of her extra jewelry, that's something that she can share as well, because people are going to really want to look at her bling. And that's a perfect opportunity for you to plant seeds for her becoming a designer as well, because then you can say, I'm going to give you these cards, but if you would like to hand out your own business cards when you begin your business with Origami Owl, let me know and I can help you with that. Just about planting seeds for her becoming a designer. The next thing you want is a wish list, and that's actually in the back office as well. And you just want your hostess to look through the catalog and determine things that she would love to have. And your goal is to tell her, I want you to write down the things that you love most so that we can work towards getting those to you for free. And you're going to do that by setting in her mind from the very beginning that her goal for a jewelry bar is $1,000, because that's going to be $300 in free jewelry, 4 half price items, as well as a Hostess exclusive for free. So don't ever set your hostess up and say, oh, you only need 4 orders. You only need $250 in sales. You never shoot for the bare minimum. You always shoot for the moon. So your goal is $1,000 jewelry bar with every single person that hosts a party for you. Okay, then the next thing that you're going to include is the flyer for the new designer kit, as well as opportunity information. That's pretty much one piece of paper. The only thing that I include a little differently, I include the 3 kits. Then you can include the shop host join flyer as well, and some extra pictures if you want, just to kind of show exactly what it is that we're providing. But if you want to keep it very simple, just keep with the new designer kit, as well as the shop host join flyer. And then an Alice list, because your goal, and we'll go into this in a little more detail in a minute, is for your hostess to invite about 30 people, because you want her to have 10 to 12 people to attend, and you need to pretty much invite about 3 times that many to make sure that you have a full house. Okay, so here is the Hostess Check 6 games. And as you're going to see, this is super, super simple. And the thing is at the very top, it says check 6 to earn high hostess rewards and win blah, blah, blah. Basically, you're telling her, if you're able to check 6 of these boxes below, you're going to have a rockin' jewelry bar. And it's up to you to determine what she is going to win. My goal would honestly be to not be chintzy. This is not where you want to be cheap. This is where you want to shower your hostess with goodies, because you want everyone who attends her jewelry bar to want to be her. And if you're just giving her a charm for her locket, that's honestly not a really big deal. $2.50 out of your pocket for someone who is setting aside her evening, providing refreshments. She's cleaned her house. She's basically giving you her friends as customers. She's worth more than a charm. So think about something that's a little more of a high price item. Your budget, you definitely want to stay within your budget. But you also don't want to be cheap with your hostess, because you want her to know without a shadow of a doubt that she is extremely important to you. Now for the check, it says you check off 6 of the 8 steps to success. Hold the jewelry bar on the original date, and you would share what time and the actual date. That she has 6 or more guests attending. She has sales of $1,000 or more. That she has secured $250 in outsized orders before your jewelry bar. This is really big, because for me, when I host a jewelry bar, I tell my hostess, you know what? The day of your jewelry bar, that's the grand finale. Because the reality is, if you have people attend a jewelry bar, it is extremely rare for someone to say, oh, shoot, yeah, I'm going to check over that catalog when I get home, and then I'm going to place an order. Most people don't do that. I would say the vast majority of people don't do that. So you don't want to hold up the orders from those who are actually following through and supporting your hostess and helping to support you in your business. You don't want to hold up their orders for the potential of someone who's probably not going to place an order anyway. So your goal is to get as many orders on the front end as possible. Now, if your hostess has, if she's super close, if she's like $850 and you only need an additional $150 to hit that $1,000 plateau, that goal that you had to begin with, then you could leave the jewelry bar open for a day or two afterwards, but only with a very finite period of time, like a very small window to really encourage people to be very proactive with their orders. You're creating a sense of urgency. Then you have confirm 2 jewelry bars scheduled from her jewelry bar. Invite 3 guests who have never met before. Meet me for coffee to hear about the Origami Owl business, or refer me to a friend who wants to learn more about joining my team. And it doesn't just have to be a friend, it can be her as well. So she just picks 6 of those 8. And that right there, if she does all of those, that's a successful jewelry bar in and of itself. Okay, so we're going to talk about your points of contact with your hostess. As I shared, hostess coaching doesn't start 2 days before the jewelry bar or the day of. Hostess coaching starts as soon as she says yes. And as I shared, you're going to give her that packet full of information so she has plenty to look over and start to get excited about. The thing is, as your hostess, you want to make sure that she feels equipped so that she knows what to do, because as I shared, she will do what you're asking her to do, but don't leave her guessing. You need to tell her very specific steps, 1, 2, 3, these are the things that you do, and she will follow through. So within hours of giving the hostess packet, just think about creating a really simple, fun video. You can text message it to her. You can send it to her through Facebook and just say, girl, I am so excited to host a jewelry bar with you. Thank you so much for supporting me and my business. I can't wait to help you look like Mr. T. Something's just super simple, less than 30 seconds, just thanking her for the opportunity to have her as your hostess. That's pretty amazing. So you're going to want to share your excitement that they're hosting a party. Remind them to start making their jewelry wish list. Of course, you gave her that packet. You want to say, you know what? Remember that wish list I gave you? That takeout menu is in there. Start looking through that and circling things that you love, because my goal is to make sure you can get those. And then tell them that you can't wait to talk to them in the next 24 hours to start planning. You don't want the dust to settle. You want to make sure that you stay in contact with her so that you keep the excitement level really high. So after they have secured their date, you've given her the packet, you've told her, hey, I'm going to follow up with you in 24 hours. What I tell them is they're actually securing their date once they give you their guest list. Basically, their jewelry bar goes from being in pencil to in pen. They don't actually confirm that date until they have given me their Alice list. Okay? And not only their Alice list, if you have someone who's creating an Alice list and she's got 30 people, you can say, you know what, you're securing your date as soon as you get me the email addresses of your friends that you're inviting so that I can get those invitations out to them. And you may have a little pushback from some people that are like, I'll send out those invitations on my own. Yeah, no, you don't want to do that. We'll talk about that more in just a second. So the Alice list is something that they can use to create their guest list. And make sure you tell them it is totally normal for you to have a brain block at about the 10 or 15 people mark, because you start thinking about other people that you would like to attend, but you start answering the question for them. You start thinking, oh, I can invite Susie Johnson. And then you're thinking, wait a minute, but Susie Johnson, is she really going to want to come to my party? And then you take her off the list because you're creating an answer for her. Allow her to create that answer. So their goal is to have 3 times the number of people that they want to attend. You want 10 to 12 people, so you're going to want 30 to 36 people that you're actually inviting. And once again, coaching them on how to invite, make sure that they just put down the list of their friends and family, people they really enjoy being around, people that they're connected to through their kids' sports or through work or through church, through their gym class, whatever it may be. Give them the opportunity to get creative and start inviting people. Obviously, we already talked about the wish list, and you can follow up with them and say, hey, did you have time to look through that takeout menu? Did you find anything that you absolutely love? Have you started thinking about what you want your locket to say? Those kind of things. Start getting their minds really going about the product. And then you want to set the jewelry bar goal with them. And remember, I shared that the jewelry bar goal is always $1,000. It's pretty simple. Always $1,000. If they're like, oh, well, I'd like to have about 500, you can say, girl, we can get you to 1,000. Wouldn't you love $300 in free product, 4 half-price items, and the Hostess exclusive for free? Or even the ability to actually earn your starter kit with Origami Owl for nothing? So really, $1,000. Never shoot at the bottom. Never shoot for 4 orders for $250. You never want to bring that up. Ever. Don't ever let that come out of your mouth. It's always $1,000 jewelry bar. That's what you're going for. Now, jewelry bar themes, as we're going into, as of right now, we're going into spring. So you could do, something about spring. You could do something about, getting rid of winter. You could do an Easter theme. You could do St. Patrick's Day. You could do spring break, anything like that. You can start thinking about that. Mother's Day is not too far around the corner. So start thinking now about some of the fun themes that you could do. Okay, so after you're doing that, obviously, her wheels are starting to turn. She's thinking about product. She's really thinking about who she can invite to her jewelry bar. And this is a great time for you to continue to touch base with her. Make sure you're reaching out to her and saying, hey, what's the best way for me to get in touch with you? Do you want email? Do you want text message? Does Facebook work? Because the reality is the more contact you have with her without driving her bananas, the quicker that relationship is going to grow. So 72 hours after she has booked the jewelry bar, at the most, 48 to 72 hours, you're going to review the guest list with her. And this is going to be a great way for you to start learning those guests, finding out who's coming. Do they have kids? Are their kids coming with them? Those kind of things. Okay. So you're going to review the guest list. You're going to incentivize guests to bring a friend. You want everybody to bring a friend. Now, in that situation, you can say, hey, bring a friend and get a free charm for your locket. That matters. And you may think, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? If that's 10 extra people, if I end up with 20 people in my jewelry bar, then I've just done, 10 charms at $2.50. Do I really want to do that? If you've got a jewelry bar with 20-something people at it, you can afford $2.50 per person that brings a guest, because first of all, not everyone is going to, but you want to reward that behavior, positive reinforcement. And within the 48 to 72 hours, when she gives you her guest list of who she wants to invite, that's when her date, remember, that's when it goes from pencil to pen. She's legit. You can check with them about the Check 6 game. Say, hey, did you check this over? How's it going so far? What are your goals on this Check 6? Are you wanting to have your outside orders? Hey, you've already got one because we're keeping the original date. Check that off. Encourage them and get them excited about checking off 6 of those 8. Obviously, the pre-orders, $250 to $500. You're going to talk to them about hospitality and keeping it simple. Something salty, sweet, and something to drink. This doesn't have to be Emerald Lagasse coming to town, making a huge 10-course meal, because it actually discourages people. You definitely don't want to do that. Super, super simple. If it's a theme-related jewelry bar, you could talk to her about, hey, if it's Easter, have some sort of little Easter eggy something. If it's St. Patrick's Day, have green decorations. Just to keep it very simple. A quick search on Pinterest and people can find oogads of things to decorate for their jewelry bar, and keep it very simple. And the next thing, at the 72-hour mark, you're sending out invitations. And remember, that's you are sending out invitations. And you may say, why would you want to send out the invitations? Well, the reality is that if you're the one who's controlling those invitations, you know that they're going to send out. There are so many times at the beginning of my career with Origami Owl that I would rely on the hostess to actually send invitations out. And 9 times out of 10, she's busy, just like we're busy. She gets to, doing something else, doesn't think about it until the last minute. And then a day or two before the jewelry bar, she starts inviting 2 or 3 of her friends. So can a jewelry bar be successful with just 3 or 4 people there? Absolutely. That can be a great intimate setting, allow people the opportunity to really take their time to create their looks and sit around and get to know each other better. But sometimes it's not about an intimate setting. Sometimes it is, hey, I'm a hostess and I didn't invite anybody and I'm flying by the seat of my pants, calling in all my last minute favors and now it's too late to actually cancel this jewelry bar. So when you are the one who's in charge of the invitations, you know that they're going out, right? You know that they're going out in a timely manner. And here's the great thing. When you're sending out the invitations and you have someone who says, oh, shoot, I can't come, you can say, that's okay, because here's a link to Susie's online party. And you can actually go ahead and place an order at your leisure over the next 10 days or however far out your party is. And she's still going to get credit for your amazing purchase. So it gives you the opportunity to interact with those who can't come, because just because they can't come doesn't mean that they can't order. So again, make sure that you're the one who is sending out invitations. And for invitations, we'll talk about this in a second, but you can use the ones that are in the back office so that people have something they can throw on their refrigerator. But you can also use a program like Evite or Punchbowl, something that's cheap or completely free, and it's basically an email invitation that you can send to people. Okay, so 2 to 3 days prior to the jewelry bar, here we are, we're getting there. Remember, this is over about a 2-week period, because when you're booking a jewelry bar, you don't want to book them super far out. You want to do them about 10 to 14 days from the day that she said yes, that she wanted to host, because you want to maintain that excitement. So you want to talk with her about the expectations, what time you're going to arrive. I always try to arrive an hour ahead of my jewelry bar to make sure I have plenty of time to set up, get to know the hostess, find out a little more detail about who's coming. You're going to find out, just to be able to confirm, the number of guests that are attending. And here's the thing. You should already know the number of guests that are attending for the most part, because if she's doing her job as a hostess, she's still talking it up in addition to the people that have actually been invited. So she may have a few additional guests that you'll be adding to your guest list. And then you want to share with her, what kind of involvement. Say, you know what, I would really love to celebrate you at the beginning of this jewelry bar, but you have such a great turnout. I would love it if you could help me help these ladies build their looks. Now that you've looked through the product, you've checked out our takeout menu, you know what's available. And here's the thing, not only is she basically an assistant for you at the jewelry bar, because that's going to help her jewelry bar be so successful and efficient, but you're also showing her that she can do your job. And you want her to see that she can do your job, because that starts planting the seeds of her actually becoming a designer in the future. And then you want to go over the hostess rewards and say, hey girl, remember, for that $1,000 jewelry bar, that's our goal. That's $300 in free jewelry, 4 half-price items, and the hostess exclusive for free. Those are the things that you want to share. You're reinforcing that positive behavior. And then you want to check in on pre-orders and just say, hey, so have you got any pre-orders? Are we able to check that off on your Check 6 game? Just follow up with her. Make sure that you're reinforcing what you're wanting to see. And even if she doesn't have 250 or 500, anything that she has, you can definitely be rewarding that. And then you want to talk about packing smart, because when you get to that jewelry bar, you don't want to be lugging stuff in like a pack mule or camel. You want to take 1 or 2 trips to the car and be done. Your goal here is to show the hostess how successful this can be with sales, how successful this will be with your profit, how easy this is to replicate, all those things. And if she sees you lugging stuff in, like I said, like a pack mule, that doesn't look like easy to her. That looks like crazy hard work. So let's talk a second about a few what if scenarios. Like, when things don't go perfectly as planned, when things go a little pear-shaped and you have to punt, when you have to adjust your sale. Let's talk about those. So what do you do when kiddos show up? Here's the thing. I know there are some people who say that they prefer not to have children at their jewelry bars, but the way that I see it is the majority of us are moms. The reason I got into this business was for me to be able to spend time with my family and to have a business that works around them, because that is what's most important to all of us. So for me, I allow kids to come. I'll just say, hey, do we have any kids coming, when I'm checking in with her to find out, who's coming. If she's like, hey, so I've got all these soccer moms that are coming, you can bet your bottom dollar I'm going to have soccer lockets on display for that jewelry bar. If they're all teachers, that's what's going to be up there. If they're nurses, that's what's going to be up there. So by you talking to your hostess ahead of time, you're able to really hone in on the demographic that you're selling to, so that you can build lockets and looks that speak to the things that interest them. So I create something called a little hoot bag, and I literally got these little bags from Michael's. They have owls on them. I have some stickers, some origami paper, a few coloring sheets, and some crayons or colored pencils, something like that, or even Play-Doh, depending on the age of the kids that you have. It's okay for them to bring kids. It really is. And here's the thing. Especially if this is over spring break or the summer, it would behoove you to find an owlette aged girl, 10, 12, 13, 14, somewhere in that range. Bring her along. Even just say, hey, you know what? I will give you a locket if you'll come and you'll help me with this amazing jewelry bar. If you're able to provide some sort of activity / childcare for mom so that they can have 5 minutes just to hang out with their friends, they're going to be so appreciative. And that's what we want to embrace, because we want to be there for other women and show them that this is a business that celebrates and supports them. So don't be afraid if kiddos are involved. So hostesses, let's say your hostess wants to cancel because of poor expected attendance. Here's the thing. You got that covered because you sent out the invitations. If you've sent out the invitations and you followed up with the hostess to make sure that she's inviting 3 times the number of people, you're not going to have cancellations. I'm telling you, you're not going to have them. And if she only has the 3 to 4 people coming after you've done your best with the hostess coaching, remember 3 to 4 is a great personal setting, and you go anyway. I have a designer that has been with me since the very beginning, and she actually was the only person that showed up at a party when everyone else stayed home because they had the stomach flu. So don't give up on a jewelry bar just because it only has a few people attending. 9 times out of 10, you're going to have more than that in attendance if you are very purposeful with your jewelry bar. But occasionally you're just not going to have quite as many people as you would like. And don't let that discourage you or the hostess. Follow through with that jewelry bar anyway. Okay, so what to do if the hostess doesn't want to have a jewelry bar at her home? A great thing for you to consider putting in your packet is a list of restaurants in the area that have an extra room. Like I know we have a Logan's Steakhouse. They have an extra room. The Olive Garden close to me has that. Panera sometimes has that bigger table that you could go to. If you have someone who's like, I would love to host that, but I live in an apartment, or I don't have a whole lot of room, or we're remodeling, or whatever the reason may be, say that's okay. If you don't want to do that there, hey, let's just go to a restaurant. All you need to do is just pay for a couple of appetizers and let your friends pay for their drinks, and we can do the jewelry bar right there. And if she doesn't want to do that, then you can go to a takeout party or a Facebook party. You can do different options other than just in-home, but really sharing with people the potential of having a jewelry bar at a restaurant where they can go spend time with their friends, spend a little money on appetizers, and let someone else do the dishes, and she didn't have to vacuum her home. She's going to be excited about that potential. So let's say you have advance bookings 2 to 3 months in advance. How do you continue to follow up with your hostess if she's, 2 months out? The awesome thing about what we've got going on now at Origami Owl is we have the Shop Host Join, and that is something that comes out every single month. That's something that you can follow up, send an email or a shout out text to your hostess once a week or so. Or, if you know that there's a particular thing that she likes, which you're going to know because you're doing hostess coaching with her and you're really starting to build a legit friendship with her. If there's a particular charm that you think she's going to like, or put together a particular look, or look up, hey, the spring Pantone colors are this. Hey, girl, did you know that these are the on-trend colors? I'm going to make sure that I'm bringing these to your jewelry bar in just a couple of weeks or next month, blah, 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 whatever it is. Just stay in touch with her and send her things that let her know, hey, you know what? I'm thinking about you, and I just want you to know that I am excited about this jewelry bar, and I'm really looking forward to helping you look like Mr. T. Those kind of options. So anyway, so that's it. So those are just a few tips to really help you be successful in rocking your jewelry bar, and that's going to happen through Hostess coaching. Perfect. So I just wanted to share that with you. Make sure that you had some tips for Hostess coaching, because Hostess coaching truly is the most important aspect of your jewelry bar. You don't have to have thousands of dollars of jewelry. You don't have to have the most amazing, beautiful display in the world. You don't have to have a script perfected and know exactly what to say. You just don't. But Hostess coaching and being very purposeful with your hostess up front, really spending purposeful just a few minutes, 2 or 3 times at the very beginning, about 2 weeks out, and then 2 to 3 times as it gets closer, for you to really touch base with her and let her know the expectations that you have for her. And by showing that effort and saying, hey, these are the things that I really need you to do, you're telling her, hey, guess what? I'm the expert and I know how to rock this jewelry bar for you, so that it's not only great for me, but it's also going to get you huge amounts of jewelry for free, or your business for free. So anyway, so that is the lowdown on Hostess coaching. If you have any questions or any feedback, please share that with us. If you're looking for additional games, we'll be happy to share those with you as well. So thanks so much for attending, and be sure to check back next week, because I'm going to be going into more detail. We're going to be talking about the bulk of the jewelry bar. We're also going to be talking about different engagement games and activities that you can do that next week. And then the 4th week, we're going to talk about closing the jewelry bar and really hitting that $1,000 benchmark, that goal that you have set for your hostess for her Rockstar Jewelry Bar. So y'all have an amazing evening, and I'm here if you need me.